Hey guys, it's your girl Corporate Carolyn, and I had a thought that I wanted to share before I end my workday and take all this stuff down. And so I said I'd go ahead and just make a quick video to talk about it. You know how like people have been running around in recent years getting BBLs. So glad that I have a husband that likes my body the way that it is, because otherwise I probably would have done something really crazy. But I was thinking the only BBL any woman ever needs, especially one that's looking for a husband, is to be nice. That's the first B. And then the second B is to be confident. And then the L is just to look nice, just because. When you're out, you don't have to be overdressed like I tend to be. Because I work from home, no one sees any of the outfits that you guys see me making the videos in. But I just like to dress up, probably from my trauma, from growing up in the projects of Augusta, Georgia, wearing my mom's clothes, being a little chubby, and always like feeling less than. And I like to feel good about myself now, so that's why you see me overdressing. But for you, you don't have to overdress. You just need to look nice. So let's get that out of the way, the whole BBL thing. But the first one is most important, because that whole be nice thing, I did a video about like, are you an angry black woman? Urging you to look within to see why you might not be being nice, and try to fix that within yourself if you can, because it will really help you, not just with finding your Mr. Right, but also with other important relationships in your life. So but my husband, the reason he liked me, he had a whole lot of options. Being a guy with green eyes who was a soccer star in college, there were a lot of options, and they weren't just black women. So his desire to be with me, one, he did think I was cute. Two, I didn't realize that he was a second senior student that needed to get out of there, and English classes, especially writing, were keeping him out of there. So when I talked his ear off for hours the first night that we met, and I mentioned that I'd always wanted to be a journalism major, but I was trapped in double E and I loved to write, the reason he met me at the library the next morning at 8 o'clock when I said I was going to be there is because he needed help writing papers. So that kind of made me stand out. But the other thing that made me stand out to him, being a woman who was talking quite a bit heavier than I am now, shorter hair than I have now, was the fact that he said I was nice to him. And you don't know what people are going through and how much niceness means to them. His father had died a few years before that. He was kind of out of his element. He really wanted to go home. He's in Clemson, South Carolina. Very few black people. It was just kind of an environment that he was really hating. And so what I viewed as being reserved, and a lot of black ladies didn't think he liked black women because he wasn't talking to us. Some of them had been being really mean to him because he was very light skinned. Even when I saw his picture in the school newspaper and they were talking about, soccer star, loves family or whatever. And so I turned the page because I just assumed that he didn't like black women. And so I didn't even meet him until I had already been there a few years. And so by that point, he had had enough of people, not giving him the time of day, not talking to him, not being nice to him. And so when I met him and said, hey, you have the most beautiful eyes I've ever seen. Would you like to dance? And he was like, yeah. And then, we're dancing and having a good time, laughing and joking. And he says, you can't go to school here. And I said, you can't go to school here. And, we start laughing and joking. And the next thing you know, we're talking for hours. And then he was an introvert. And you can tell I'm an extrovert and I talk a lot. So like I was constantly pulling him out of his shell and, getting him to go places. And then I saw that he didn't have any money any more than I did. And so the second time we went out, I said, hey, would you like to go Dutch? And then, I would think of things that were inexpensive to do. Like I like to go to Hardee's and to eat a cheeseburger that was like a cheeseburger, small order fries, and a cup of ice water. And I think that was $2.12. So those were the kinds of meals that I had him buying for me. And then also, I didn't realize that a lot of people didn't buy him Christmas gifts because he was a part of a really, really big family. And so then back in the day when Bill Cosby sweaters were popular, I bought him like a little sweater that was, so cute. And I gave it to him. It was like $80. That that was a big deal. I had to trade in my books and get my money back, and then I bought him a sweater, and I think that really touched him. And then another time I saw he was struggling to get money to drive back home, and I said, well, I can loan you $100 if you'd like. And then he says, oh, that would be great. I can pay you back, blah, blah, blah. And so if he wouldn't have paid me back, we wouldn't have been together now. And so the funny thing is, he paid me back, and so we're together. But the funny thing is that all of those things that I was doing, because he was a nice person, it let him know that I was a nice person. And then all of a sudden I kind of rose up through the ranks with all those ladies, because there were girls, he played sports, there were girls that did his laundry. Your girl wasn't doing anybody's laundry. I wanted an MRS degree, but I didn't do laundry until there was a ring on this finger and we got married. Thank you. And so, but anyway, all of that to say, that big be nice thing, we take that too much for granted. We're so worried about having the biggest butt and the biggest boobs, and having these overpriced clothes and whatnot, when some guys you could get just by being nice, just by being yourself, just by enhancing what you have naturally. And so that's why the only BBL I suggest you get is being nice, being confident, because confidence is sexy. And as you can tell with my little booty, I am confident. When I have my legs out, and I was parading back and forth and letting him see that before I pretended to leave, and then have him, take the bait and say, you're not leaving, are you? And I said, no, I'm just going to get a drink. Would you like to come too? I love being an extrovert. But having that confidence is why we're here 30 plus years later with that family. He loves that confidence, that fire. And then, like I said, look the best that you can look when you're out in these streets, because you don't know who you're going to meet. You only get one chance to make a good first impression. And so he thinks I'm cute, and he likes my little uniforms, like the overdressing. He's always like that, because I even overdressed back then. But you don't have to do that. You just have to look your best. And I think that that will help you meet your Mr. Right. Let me know if you have any questions, thoughts, or comments. And I look forward to answering more questions, or, having other discussions or dialogues as you'd like to. But until the next time, I hope you guys have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.